All right, welcome back. There's a tremendous amount of political division in our country right now, and to exacerbate it, to pour more gasoline on the fire of disunity, unfortunately, famed iconic Judge Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed the other day. She lies in state in the Supreme Court building. She was a great champion of women's rights, and not my cup of tea politically, but quite the esteemed and accomplished woman, and God bless her. But that has created even more problems in our crazy republic here, because the president has a duty to appoint and fill all vacant Supreme Court seats. He's still the president, and the Democrats are hot diggity mad about it. And to break down all the justices that are in consideration is Xen Sams joins us, as usual, on Wednesday in the leadoff spot. Hello, Xen. How are you?
Hi, John. How are you? I love the water back there.
Yeah, it's a nice day in Staten Island, New York City, for sure. So let's do a little review. I think the top two contenders that everyone's talking about are Amy Coney Barrett and Barbara Lagoa. What do you know about any dark horses, any other women? I know he said it's going to be a woman.
Well, you're right. It's Amy Coney Barrett, a proven conservative on Trump's Supreme Court shortlist, right? And though Barrett is the favorite, Democrats questioned her on her opposition to abortion. She's a devout Catholic, and I fear her faith could color her legal views, but I don't dislike her. Trump also appointed Cuban-American Judge Barbara Lagoa to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals in 2019. She's my favorite. She's not likely the favorite, but she's my favorite. She was the first Hispanic woman and the first Cuban-American woman on the Supreme Court of Florida, which is a battleground in the presidential campaign. And her hometown could give them a campaign edge in Florida, which is a crucial swing state.
Yeah, I think there's like I hate to say it, but it's like a blue light special with Barbara Lagoa. You know what I mean? It's like a 2-for-1 sale, because you're going to appoint a great esteemed judge. She was appointed by Ron DeSantis in Florida to the state Supreme Court. And then she went to the 11th Circuit. She is also Cuban-born American. And with Florida being hotly contested, I think it's going to be really difficult for the left to attack a Cuban-American woman with the resume she's put together. I think that hurts Amy Coney Barrett a little bit.
Now, you know what? We are on the same page, John. I echo your sentiment to the last detail that you just said, and it's going to threaten the other contenders a lot, because there's a lot of good qualities here. I mean, look, right now we are at a hot spot, and people are jumping left and right, and this has become a huge hot button issue amongst women, because a lot of people feel that women's rights are going to be compromised. And as a woman, of course, I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm not entirely turned off by what is happening, because I have come into a very different place in my life as a mom, and that is what is my motivation and in the factors in which candidate I would kind of like them to pick from a mom's perspective. How do you feel? Where are you at right now in terms of a man? Do you feel like this is a threatening, or this is a positive? What do you feel for men?
As you can tell, I am backing the blue today. I'm in my full I Love NYPD regalia. And, my father was a cop, so I've always had respect for the police and the work that they do. And at the same time, I think most men who are sane realize we need police, right? Even Democrat men that are sane realize that police are important. But more importantly, I think it's your point of view. You come from the Hollywood cool crowd.
As a mom and a woman who stands behind female empowerment, look, I am worried, because it's my hope that whoever President Trump chooses is a strong woman who knows how and when to draw the line between women's rights and human rights. And abortion has become way too accessible for women, especially the younger generation, who use abortion as a crutch for their irresponsibility. So I do believe that the procedure needs to be limited, and a certain level of caution needs to be exercised, because what I am not okay with is teen girls aborting in third term just because. And to speak to the bigger picture, there's no guarantee that even an expanded conservative majority at the Supreme Court would target the landmark decision that legalized abortion nationwide nearly 50 years ago, given some justices' anxiety about overturning precedent. So
there's no question about it. The biggest murderer of black babies is Planned Parenthood. There's no two ways about it. So,
what I think is likely to happen is that the court could perhaps greenlight many narrower restrictions that could effectively eliminate access to the procedure for much of the country without jumping through hoops to effectively have it done. And there are several cases in the court's pipeline that could allow the justices to effectively cut back access to the procedure without having to actually confront Roe head on. So, for example, this made a lot of sense to me, John. In a case already before the court, the Trump administration has asked the justices to overturn a federal judge's decision that lifted restrictions on telemedicine abortions during the pandemic. The court could also soon consider bans on a common second trimester abortion procedure known as dilation and evacuation that at least 10 states have sought to outlaw. So these are killing babies. This is not just...
No, I'm with you. I think, look... I personally, I'm conservative on most things. I think women should have the right to female health care that they choose appropriate for them up to a certain point. That certain point is the problem that everyone faces. When is it a life? And that's, I sit here and drink martinis and talk about politics, so I try not to take my opinions into the woman's womb, if you know what I'm saying. But
it bothers me as a mom to see the abortion rates so high. And I mean, already in the week of this summer's Louisiana ruling, the Supreme Court in July asked the lower federal court to reconsider its earlier block on two laws, and one requires an ultrasound and an 18-hour waiting period before an abortion, and another one that requires minors to obtain parental consent before the procedure, which I 100% agree with.
Right. So, speaking of aborting things, the Emmy broadcast should have aborted a whole bunch of them, segments they did there. Nico dug up this clip of Anthony Edwards and who was that? Anthony Anderson and Jimmy Kimmel. And it was probably one of the most awkward things I'd ever seen. What were the other WTF moments?
Look, there was a mixed review. Some of the more heated criticism also was focusing on the memoriam part segment that they omitted, basically Kobe Bryant, Kelly Preston, Nick Cordero, and Sam Lloyd. And these are all stars that died in the past year. And the telecast was shot in the Staples Center, in the house that Kobe built, essentially. And they just omitted him entirely. During that moment, it kind of felt weird. There was another weird moment when Jennifer Aniston put out a fire that was, the flames got really, really, really big on stage, and her and Jimmy Kimmel were trying to put it off. That was a little bit weird. After Kimmel lost his Emmy category to John Oliver, he joked he'll be calling ICE in the morning. Not cool, Jimmy. That was another weird moment. And, the alpaca presenter, you have Randall Park. He presented the Emmy alongside an alpaca for no reason whatsoever. Confusing, but, cute, I guess. And the highlights were that Schitt's Creek swept the acting categories. I mean, you had Dan Levy's excitement was adorable. Anyone watching the first hour of the Emmys would have definitely wondered why it wasn't called the Schitt's Creek Awards, because it was all about Schitt's Creek. And then Zendaya made history with a surprise win. So that was my favorite moment, Zendaya and her reaction to her win. It was heartwarming.
I feel like I'm on that show every day with my team here. I'm way up Schitt's Creek. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I got no paddle. You know what I mean? So it's bad news. But no, I saw that. I actually liked that show, Schitt's Creek. I started watching it in the beginning of the pandemic. It was pretty dryly funny. I thought it was pretty cool, actually. And, it seemed weird to me that, out of all the great shows that are produced in America, the one from Canada takes home all the goods. But, you're probably sitting over there drinking a Molson Golden or a St. Pauli girl and loving every minute of it, seeing Canada win big.
I was a proud Canadian. And also, the fake audience, I mean, they kicked off with a truly puzzling bang of a production splicing footage of last year's audience reacting and laughing into Kimmel's monologue. I mean, Kimmel revealed after about 10 minutes that it was all a joke. It was strange, but it was kind of, the whole thing was an abortion.
No doubt about it. All right, we're out of time, darling. Thank you so much. You're always the best. And we got to follow up on some of this Planned Parenthood stuff because it's bad news. Thank you, Xen. You're the bomb.
John, have a great day.
Xen Sams, model, actress, TV movie producer, super mom, and joins us every week on Woman Wednesday. What's happening in the news, in the world? You're not going to believe it.